recording hopefully through the external mic. Just came through a storm. So when you're sharing your art with others, I guess the goal is that everyone would like your stuff. One of the inevitable parts of humanity is sometimes we think that our critiques are actually helpful for other people to hear. But a lot of times when you share the art, you're sharing a vulnerability, an emotion that has given you the reason that you want to share it. So if you want to share something, then you just need to make sure that your audience receives it. And when they receive it, one of two things can happen. I mean, years ago, when YouTube was a fair platform, you had thumbs up and thumbs down. And me as a content creator at the time, I was like, I appreciate the thumbs down. I used to ask for the thumbs sideways, which basically was the ratio. The ratio of the difference between the thumbs up and the thumbs down, I considered the thumbs sideways. When I did the Nintendo compromise, the compromise was me. The compromise was the software that I kept trying to find different ways to do that I could achieve. I had a really good computer for the time. It was supposedly quote-unquote future-proofed in the PlayStation 4's introductory era. But I had such problems trying to get the lag to not ruin playing Wii U games, and it just didn't work. So what I appreciated was the feedback. And I think some people are so protective of your emotions that they may not give you honest feedback. And then others are so entirely removed from sense that they do nothing but offer their opinion when you didn't friggin' ask for it. So that's a problem too. In the middle exists the thumb sideways. So the thumbs down, I always want. I appreciate every disrespectful comment. I appreciate every thumbs down. If it comes from a place of honesty, or if you're just going to troll, you will get responses from me. So over the years, the KYSs that I received were very helpful to me because they helped me to build the skin required to make my art public. And my art, which God gave me, is a voice, an opinion, and a desire for public shame. No one speaks in public that does not have a death drive. They say it is what Sigmund Freud had said, that when you're standing on the ledge of a tall building and you look over and experience the fear is not that you might fall. It's that you might jump. The death drive is built into anyone who makes art public. So in a lot of ways, just admitting the fact that, all right, I'm gonna go. I was trying to wave him through, but he didn't want to go. Waving, blah, blah, blah. So the death drive, wanting public shame. Like, I know that I had a girlfriend. I would say God rest her soul, but she's still alive. She just doesn't want anything to do with me, and that's totally fine. We had a show. Didn't last very long. But I think part of it was because it's very hard for some people to accept the criticism. Some people just criticize the crap out of themselves, and that's kind of where it stops. But I say, for anyone who's actually going to podcast or Veedlog or do any of the silly things that I've done over the year, editing videos is much more fun than just throwing up a live unedited video. But it takes more art than this is. But an unscripted Veedlog, just sort of talking out there, you have to be your own best watcher and listener. If you don't want to listen to your stuff, no one does. If you don't know who you are, talk it out until you can figure it out. Play it out if it's music. Paint it out. Draw it out. But make sure that you look at your stuff and you say, you know what, I like this. And use the criticism that you have to build I don't like the way that turned out. I don't like the way that sounded. I don't like the lighting. I don't like how fat I am. I need to go on carnivore and start losing some weight because I have gotten way too fat. Can't do anything about the things that can't be changed. I'm not going to dye my hair. I'm not going to grow my hair back. I'm not going to get transplants or weave. I'm going to remind myself every time some vicious troll calls me a fat, bald old man. I'm going to be like, you know what? I own the shit out of that. That's who I am. I can change that. I can change the fat. I'm working on it. But in terms of the art, craft the art by the trolls, craft the art by the people that genuinely appreciate your stuff. You're going to have fanboys and fangirls that, they're just going to love everything you do just because they love you. But they provide some service, but not nearly as much. I think to that point, I just want to say this, and then I'll conclude this video and throw it on. I would say this. Have you ever experienced a moment where something just clicked? Let's say it was the first time you threw a strike in the bowling alley. I threw an axe the other day, right? When I went to my nephew's wedding, he had axe throwing at his wedding reception. Fantastic. And it was great. I threw a couple of bullseyes in the row that stuck. Try to replicate it and say, you know what? I can't do it. Why? Because I have no idea what I did right. But the second that you start doing something wrong, you immediately can criticize yourself and say, I know what I did wrong. I'm going to try this. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it doesn't give you the correction that you needed. But when it does, you're tailoring your craft. If you're throwing darts, maybe it's a little bit better example for more people than throwing an axe. But adjust. I had a friend that when I would play darts with him, you'll have to adjust. Anyway, you do. You have to adjust to what life is throwing at you, but you also have to look at your art and you have to say, you know what? I have to make this adjustment. So when you do it all right, you have no friggin' idea. Let's say you throw up one video, gets 1 million views, never had a single one of them, thank God. This is my goal again. The central irony of this YouTube experience is to get you to stop fucking watching. Go out, experience life, and stop fucking watching YouTube. Get off your phone.